Hello everyone, we're here today with Michael, who's got top 8 at the UK Expo in Birmingham. How are you?
Yeah, I'm doing fine.
Thank you. So, talk to us about the deck you played today.
Yeah, I played Ssg Trunks, the Crimson Warrior. Yeah, I think the deck has a lot of potential, and people think that black is dead, and I proved them wrong twice. And yeah, I like the deck. It draws a lot of cards, and it's very consistent in what it does. And yeah,
Excellent.
that's basically it. So I go through the leader first because on the tournament, some people said that they don't know the leader, what it does, and what skills it has. So on the front side, he has activate main. Basically, you warp a card, black card, and you draw two. It's very important because the awaken condition is you have 5 black sands in your warp, and then you can awake, you untap one, draw one. And then on the back side, the leader's on swing, you draw 2, and then you warp a card, which is very important because you see the cards first, and then you warp what's not important on what you need for the consistency or aggression part. Then when your opponent swings on a unison, you can restand the leader, and then leader has a blocker, so you can defend your unison quite easily with the deck, or drop yourself to 5 so you can do some negates, which I will show you later. And then the most forgotten part of the leader, which I love, is it activate main for 1 colorless energy and a spirit boost. You get to warp anything from the field, not ignoring barrier, and you drop 2 cards from warp to your drop. And I abuse this skill like every single turn. Yeah, I play the deck. I've seen some people play the deck really aggressively, like going aggro and like focusing on beating your opponent down. I tried a different approach. My deck is built a little bit differently. I try to outgrind my opponent, like push him out of the resources while being in mine, and then go in when I'm ready, like when I have 16 cards in my hand and my opponent has like 7 or 8. So yeah, that's the leader.
Did you, because black, I'd imagine the putting the 2 back in helps with overrounds and things like that, really?
Yeah. And I have more cards that helps me overwhelm because the leader itself has very limited drop manipulation.
Yeah.
You need to pay an energy for that, and there are some cards that do it for free, and yeah, that's basically boosts the deck and the tempo of the turn you want to kill.
Sure.
So yeah, let's go in the main deck. I start with the engine first. So we play 4 blocker. It's Gohan, 2 crit Gotens, 2 Ssg Trunks, and 4 Ssg Trunks 5 drops. So I'll go one by one and tell you a little bit about why I use the cards. So the most important guy is the blocker. It makes you draw a card because of the unison I will show you later. It's a blocker. When it comes into play, I can warp up to 3 cards of my deck, which helps the leader awaken. And yeah, it's a blocker. The other guy, it's on swing, you can spirit boost 1 to give him a crit. I think people underestimate this guy because he's a 10k, he's a crit, but the way I play the deck, I usually swing with it and no one negates or blocks it. And then I just go spirit boost, combo, give him a double strike, and suddenly it's like 30k double crit. And you have to deal with it.
Pretty good value.
Yeah. And turn after turn, I just replay them, so I get combo power on, I get draws, and yeah, just build the value out of this. I think the MVP of the engine is this Trunks because it's cheaper. So this guy is unique, has a permanent that if you have 10 or more cards in your warp, he gains a double strike. So it's mini thwarting, and when you have a 3 or more energy, you can spirit boost 1, pay 1 black, and play from warp. So basically the whole engine is played from warp, and that's why it's so good, because you don't waste your hand cards. So you warp the cards from your leader effect, then you play them from warp, and you build a value from that. So the Ssg Trunks is the last piece. I play 4 because it's the best finisher in the deck. You just play 2 or 3 in the kill turn and just swarm your opponent with like 6 or 8 swings. But it costs 2 energy, and for the way I play the deck, it's very expensive. Sometimes I just want to chill and play the double striker, see what my opponent does, see what's his reaction before I invest more energy into the offense. But yeah, when you go for the game, it's like you want to have 2 or 3 in warp, so you can just spam the board and kill. Yeah, so.
And that's got a great effect where on swing as
yeah,
well.
Yeah. I forgot about it. Say he's a dual attack, 20k, and when you swing, you can place up to 3 cards from your warp to your drop, and that builds your overwhelm for free. Most of the time, I just swing once, leave him standing, so the opponent can do anything about it. Then overwhelm. Then do the overwhelm, swing with leader, swing with unison, play a blocker or something, and just pass and like build value from this.
Yeah, because that's what makes it so good. Because I mean, if you don't have any other battle cards in your grave, you know, simply 2 swings on that, you've got 6 now, haven't you?
Yeah. And the thing is, like, people always deal with the board, and except for this Trunks, all the other cards are going to the drop. So when you overwhelm, you refill your power, and you play everything once again. So it's recycling the offense all the time while using no cards from your hand.
Excellent.
So yeah, that's the engine. We have a little bit of consistency pieces as well. This Trunks, a 2-off, as well as this Go Hanks. Now this one, I will talk about this one first. This one comes for free if you have Trunks, which is these cards, and 3 more cards I have in the later stage of the profile, and this Gohan. So basically, if you have Gohan and Trunks in your drop, you can free play him, place them in your warp, so you can play them again, and then swing for 15. It's a free 15k crit swing. So.
And in the yellow Trunks matchups.
And in the yellow Trunks matchup, you could just switch out Putin and Trunks with no energy. Yeah. So it's very good. But the thing about why it's a consistency piece is often when I start a game, I warp this blocker, I play him, and then I draw 2 cards, and preferably I want to turn 2 unison. Warp 3, see if I have 5 seconds. If I don't have 5 seconds, the unison is in very dangerous position to die. Yeah. And if the unison dies, your drawing engine is limited. You want to keep the unison for at least 2 or 3 turns. Then he gains like 5 or 6 marker, and then it's not very. There is no one who swings into it. Like you can protect it with your leader, with your blocker, and then the unison stays unless somebody Kai warps it, right? The secret rare. So why it's a consistency piece? So as I said, I play the blocker, then I block with it because I want to stay at high life. I don't need to go into 2-4 life to play the deck efficiently. Then I play the unison on turn 2. I can combo off the Trunks. If I don't have 5 science, then I play Gohanks. Take 2 science to my warp and then awaken. And in other decks, you might think that's not efficient because you lose hand cards, but this deck draws a lot of cards. Like every game I have like 15, 16 cards in my hand when my opponent has like 10 or 11. And you shouldn't be scared of comboing cards of your hand because you play everything from warp and your hand is just your tools to play. I could say it like this. So. And the little Trunks is just a top 5 searcher for a unison or a science 4 or less. So I pick this guys, and I picked these guys from him and super combos as well. So yeah, that's the consistency pieces. Then we go into the super combos. I've seen people play Vegeta super combo. I think it's wrong. I think this is the best super combo because it's live turn 2. And you don't need to go into for life to actually use your super combo for your aggression. And then for the other combo part, I play 2 Champas. As I said, I prefer to play 2 Champas because 1 Champa I use for pressure to take my opponent to 3 life preferably, or 2 life. And I use it very often on the crit guys. So yeah, 2 Champas is really good. I think 1 is not enough because if you mill 1, you're out of Champas, and you really want a Champa in this deck because you want to push the damage on 1 swing. So yeah.
Excellent.
Then we have a Unison. So this Unison is pretty basic. It has 1 effect, a 1+ effect. It's specified to Unison. You always want to play it on turn 2, except aggro matchups. Sometimes you just need to keep the energy open for your defense. Like I played the Broly BR in the last round, and I didn't play my Unison turn 2 because I knew if I play it, I'm tapped out, and he will just go into me and just wreck me. And yeah, so the Unison +1, you can warp up to 3 cards from your deck, and it has a 15k Unison, so it's a good pressure piece. And then she has an auto. When you play once per turn, when you play something from warp, you draw a card and gain a marker. So in the best case scenario and the most recent, the most common snenario, it's a 4 marker Unison turn 2. So and your leader has a blocker. So it's really not worth to attack it into it. But if you don't clear it in the turn it comes, you will never clear that Unison because it gains a marker a lot of. So next we have another package that I put in the deck, also a bit differently than the other decks I saw on the internet, because I put a thwarting package but on the overland basis. So this is my thwarting package. Obviously, you play 4 Beyond the Limits to recycle your tools, like negates, like overarms, like go hangs. Then to match the ratios, you play 3 SS4 Vegeta Fine Greeting. It's a very good card that just swaps a card from 30k beta. I also put this one in, and I love it because, as I said, I play 2 Champas. So when I need to pressure my opponent, I see like 1 blocker, or he has a blocker negate, and I didn't draw my thwarting. I just overrun this for 6 for 1 energy. Then I swing, warp cards up to 4. It's like baby secret identity on the swing. So he warps everything up to 4 cost. And he has crit, then I just swing and Champa in for the double crit. And it's basically I play it when the opponent has 5 life, so he has to go down to 3 on crit. So nobody likes it, but some people has to deal with it. And then obviously the thwarting, the one-off, which this deck draws so much that you always see this thwarting. So and you don't care if you mill it, you just grab it from the Beyond the Limits and just play from there. I also played the A-Drop. Against some matchups it's a very good card, and against the other it's a charge target or it's a 5k combo. That's a very good thing about the card, that it's not that card if you don't have energy. So on some matchup he puts so much value that you just simply win by dragging your opponent down with resources, like 0 cards in hand, and just pass.
Yeah.
And let him play when you have like 14. So yeah, that's this card was a key card against one of my games. I think it was SS4 ramp. So the SS4 ramp matchup is actually pretty easy because you have a lot of blockers, so he can't ramp. But I was afraid of him putting a hatch on me. and I decided to swing it in when he was already on low hand because of the pressure I made, and he warped 2 cards, and then he couldn't hatch because because he had like 1 card in his hand. So yeah, and it's like triple attack 35k, like it's a great finisher. But also a deadly weapon to yourself, because sometimes it's very tempting to play him because you think you win. I had one game, like I was expecting the Trunks Jira to play Cell Xeno. I didn't see Cell Xeno turn game 1 that I won. We played game 2, and I thought I'd have the game because the most of the people play Cell Xeno I know. He was tapped, so I decided, okay, I will play Gojira and swing. If I don't win this turn, he has a low hand size, and then he panned me, and I was like, okay, the game is in the really bad spot right now. So yeah, you have to be careful when you use it because it's 4 energy, it's a lot of energy, and you need some energy to play your defense.
Yeah.
So that's for the thwarting package. Then for the rest of the overall, I played 3 small Trunkses and 2 of the Bardocks. So the Trunks is simply for refilling and drawings, and if somebody V-raise you, it's a 15k swinger, so you can make a little pressure before you end your turn. And yeah, that's simply it. Nothing else. Draw 2, warp 1, fills your warp with cards you need. This guy is crazy, man. I had a A16 game. Shout out to my opponent. It was a very good game. So I knew he had hatch in hand, and he left like 8 energy open, and I was like, okay, I negated his swing, so he couldn't arrive on his turn. So I swung. Then he rivaled like 2 times the 4-drop, like crit me to life, play 2 Android 21s. Then I knew he wanna hatch the next swing, and I forced the swing on the hatch, and then he hatched me, and then I used the Bardock overall. So I said you can have only 1 battle card swing next turn, and then I popped 3 blockers on top of it and passed my turn with a 1 negate in my hand. So I knew he has no chance to kill me. And then at the turn after, he had 1 card in his hand and no defense. I was just warping his stuff and just pushing through it. So yeah.
Yeah, that's the advantage, being able to play these from the drop, from the wall.
Yeah, you don't need cards in hand to actually make pressure. And the thing is, this guy, like against yellow as well, they have a counter, but this has no interaction. Like, you just declare that your opponent has 1 swing with battle cards. If somebody doesn't play a Frieza leader, which can go for
like Bloodlust.
Yeah, called Bloodlust. It's just going in.
Yeah,
and that's nothing you can do with it. So I really love the card. It won me so many games. Yeah, and I stay at high life total. So there's really it places the opponent in a bad spot, I think. So defense package, except the blockers. 2 pan negates. I think it's good, but in some matchups, mostly on aggro, and if I know that somebody doesn't run counterplays, or its counterplays are limited to life.
Yeah.
It's basically a little topo. It doesn't negate a swing, but it costs 1 energy, and you warp a card from your hand, so you still warp a card, and it helps you play the game. And then the opponent has to pitch 2 cards from his hand for every battle card swing, so it's really good. 2 kind negates, the best black negates except petrification, but the petrification doesn't have a combo power, so I don't use it in my main deck. If you have 3 new warp, which you have in turn 2, you basically reduces the costs of her in your hand by 2. So it's a 1 cost negate that warps a card from the field and plays it at the end of the turn with the skill negated. Yeah, it shuts down the turns, shuts down the boss monsters. I really like it. I wouldn't cut it, I wouldn't bump it up, because 2 is enough. You can always recycle it with Beyond the Limit. So
Yeah.
and you draw a lot, so you always see. And then the last negates, I play 2 token negates. I don't know about this card. I often stay at 6-7 life. The people don't swing into unison, so I stay at 6 life, and I can't use it. And yeah, I don't know. It's good sometimes when you want to defend your unison, but the usage of the card is very limited. So
Yeah.
2 is enough. Might go to 1, never go to 3. Yeah. And the other counter I play that might be different also than the super combos is Time Bullet. This is like the best counterplay you can use in the deck. I mean, it only affects 2 or less, and you need to have a unison, but you always have your unison. And it lets you free play this if you drop 2 cards from your hand. It might sound crazy, like you drop 3 cards to hand to just negate one swing and negate the play of the 1 card, but you always use it on your kill turn, and you like counterplay the key negate like Mecha Frieza or like Topos and stuff. And it has a one more usage in the deck. So I said before that the deck has a problems filling your drop for free, and this card just fills the 3 cards in your drop you need for your overarm just for free, and negates the swing. And you draw so much that you just throw the dead cards away and go further with the.
Yeah, it's like as if the -2 doesn't really matter.
Yeah, it's like you would combo these off for
Yeah.
the overall anyway, so you can just throw them away for the counterplay. Super Kamehameha, as I said, it's not that good because you often are not on 4 life.
Yeah.
And you have to take 1 life, which I don't like in this deck, because I want to defend my life high and leave my opponent to take a risk of killing me if he wants from 6 to 0,
Yeah.
because otherwise he will die the next turn. So yeah, that's the negate we play. So the one-offs, Son Gohan, the Barrier, Baby Hate and Blue Hate.
Yeah.
I would say the magic hate.
Very true.
Basically, Barrier auto draw 1, and when your opponent activates a counter skill that restands an energy, he has to crit a life and crit an energy. Yeah. Very good card also for the Trunks Jira matchup, because when they have Trunks on the field, you could just play for 1 and just trigger the Trunks and not resting anything. Also, it's a target for a Gohan because it's some Gohan is Xeno, so it's a good consistency piece as well. That's all for him. 1 Brainwashed.
Yeah, gotta have brainwash.
This card won me so much. Nobody expects the Brainwash in this deck, and yeah, I just saw people like dump his hand like 90k double strike and this. Okay.
And again, it makes sense when you said such a high life total. You can afford to drop that 1 to stop a triple strike.
Yeah, triple
or
striker, quad
whatever.
striker. There are a lot of Cell Xeno in the meta. Yeah, very good card. 1 main is enough. So the other finisher of the deck, it's a Mira. Very popular these days.
Yeah.
You just Champa to 1 life and just Mira for the game, and you have like whole deck in your warp. So it's like nobody will ever combo out of this.
Did you win any games with Mira?
Yes, I won 1 or 2 games today with Mira. I could have done it other way, but the Mira was the most efficient one. It's like.
Do you know what kind of power it got to, or did you not?
Yeah, I didn't count. I just simply put this like the combo, and yeah. So the secret rare, the last card in the deck. I play Kai, the best secret rare for this deck.
Yeah.
For blue, it warps the Bleeding Sun. For every other matchup, it just clears the board. Stops the unisons and leaders from swinging. I won the game. Shout out to the player. He was playing the green Broly BR, the one that's sparking 7, draw 6.
Oh yes.
He was playing a whole game perfectly around the kite, but then in one turn he swung with the battle card first when he had one card in his hand. I was like, oh man.
you're gonna
don't
die.
do it.
Yeah.
I didn't tell it, but yeah, don't do it. And he was okay, swing lead, and I was like, okay, tie.
Yeah.
The game is over. Like, yeah.
Yeah, you're not gonna be drawing your cards. You're not gonna fill your hand up. Yeah.
So that's it for the main deck.
Excellent. Before we go into the side, is there any other SCR like pan or anything like that you would consider? Because obviously, like a lot of decks tend to run pan.
Yeah.
But
to be honest, I tried pan. I was playing pan when I was playing Vegeta Super Combo as well with Super Kamehamehas and the 1-drops that self-awaken. This is the other build for the deck, more aggressive one, because you play the True Fighting Spirits. I didn't like it because the deck by itself protects itself a lot, and you have a Bardock. So the thing is, you can play pan, but this is pan for 1 energy.
Yeah.
So why would you play pan over this when you can play this and have another tool to win the game?
Yeah, that's great.
So yeah, I was playing pan, was testing with pan. I like the 40k swing for free, but this deck is not aggro. Nobody should play this deck with aggro. If you aggro with this deck, you're playing it wrong. You can aggro on specific matchups. That's it. If you overextend, you can die. That's the deck itself has a low protection if you overextend. So that's why you'd stay at high life total.
Yeah, sound.
So the side deck. The worst matchup for this deck are mill strategies because you draw a lot. Unfortunately, you don't have a lot of choices for it, especially for Janemba. Shout out to Peter Dance. The only loss I had today.
Mill 2, please.
Mill 2, please. Yes. And then Mill 8, please. And then yeah, the game is over. So I decided to put these two in against Cooler, as well as these. So this is the obvious one. Yeah, you just pay 1, you can't rival, or you will pay a lot of hand cards for rivaling. Also lets you refill your hand with anything you need, and you kill in this deck on turn 5, turn 6. You don't go turn 3 kills, so you can afford the Koitsukais. Yeah, and then you go for a Meki Kabura. It has more use cases, but basically against Cooler, you just say Cooler 5 and just can't rival the most important thing in the deck. Also, it helps against A17. You don't want to shuffle your hand into your deck. And a lot of weenies like Goku drop in U7 matchup or the SCR. You can call like for Green Gotens, you can say Goten 6 and just kill the deck. Or for the negates, like you can call like Frieza 3 and just stop any Mecha Frieza negate or blue negates like Vegeta GT4. Let's Crystal Life. So yeah, I really like the card and lets you shuffle the deck. If somebody bottom decks you, you're thwarting, you can shuffle and bring thwarting back closer to you, possibly. So yeah, I think it's a very good place in the side deck. I sided it often. 2 Petrification against U7 mostly. And the decks that rely on the big boss monsters that have a dual attack or powerful effects like Goku GT, yellow, 8-drop. It also shuts down because every other negate in the deck is battle card, which is shut down, so you have the Petrification to stop it. Yeah, it's the best negate in black. It shuts down everything. So I have another Brainwashed in the side deck. I often side it in against matchups that have triple strikers or quad strikers, just to feel safe that I see it when I need it, and I don't really wanna be on a limit into Brainwash because then my opponent knows that I have a brainwash and will play around it. I don't want him to have the information that I have a brainwash in my hand, because then he has to guess if I have it or I don't. So yeah, I like my opponents to guess what I have in hand, and I have a very big hand, so they have to play around everything. It's not like you have 7 cards in your hand and okay, he might have a petrification, he might have a brainwash. I want to see my opponent, okay, he has everything. Now how to play to beat it, right? So yeah, that's one off. Trunks Jira specialty, double kami. You just, if they wall block you with barriers, it's just, man, it's really tough to beat it. Like, shout out to my friend John, who always just walls me with the barriers, and yeah, I have to deal with it. And the deck doesn't have a barrier removal. So yeah, that's the answer for it. You have a lot of energy in the deck. You don't have to tap out for it. You never play turn 3. You just wait for it. Wait for him to like build a board, because he wants to fusion. Trunks Jira wants to fusion to draw his winnies. And you wanna force him to push more, and then you kami like 3 Trunkses and 1 Vegeta and like put him, and this is the value you wanna get. So yeah, only 2 because you draw everything. So yeah, you just don't wanna see 1 in your life and you never see it. You just take 2 to have it consistently in like turn 5 or 6. So the cell is deck. This deck is in. Also Android 16 is in. So beside 3 Daburas, like, you just have to respect it. Like, you can't play without it. I mean, the deck draws a lot, but against hand control, yeah, he limits your hand to 10 or 11 cards, and I don't like being in a situation like this, so I put this in against both of these decks. I played against A16, and it helped me a lot, because I played Dabura. I drew 2, and I drew my Kai negate, which I needed to shut down his turn because he swung with Zamasu. I dropped this on Zamasu swing. I draw 2, and then he had only one A60 energy ramper and leader swing. So he swung with leader. I negated leader swing and warped the energy ramper. So he had to stop the turn. So yeah, I really like the card. And I wish the hand control wasn't in the meta, so I had 3 more slots, but yeah, it is what it is. So, A17, 1v1 game. I forced SS4 to go into 17 because it was his only win con over my blocker wall. He took the gamble, he lost it because I had the Jiren. So yeah. It's also the respect side card. You don't want to lose to A17. It's yeah, trash. And the last card, I think the best card in the side deck, the ultimate minus energy Powerball. The counter effect is good. Sometimes helps you against the barrier removal, which decks suffers from. Like against AOD, you can warp the Babidi that lets them play the cards, or the Turtles that draws them the cards. Against Trunks Jira, you can warp the small targets so they can't evolve on top of them. But also, it has an effect that most people forgot about it. It's just for 1 energy 15k combo. And I played the double striker, Ssg Trunks, the mini thwarting, swing with it and just put this on it. And suddenly he's 35k double striker, and they have to deal with it. And yeah, most of the time they take the damage because they don't want to lose more cards from their hand. And I just played the research game. So yeah, that's the full deck. I had really good time playing with it. I love to say that black is not dead. The Trunks is really good pick. Yeah, that's all.
Is there any changes you'd make to the deck at all?
That's a good question. As I said, I would consider maybe going down to 1 token again, but sometimes you just want to see one and you charge the other one. I was thinking about changing these two in and these two outs. So, but then at Friday, the age of Gojitas didn't help me, but today it helped me a lot. So, but also this card helped me a lot. So, I don't know. You could try going main these two. Trust me, this card is worth it. You can protect Unison as well against U7, for example. You can warp their A17. Yeah, that draws a card. I was thinking if it's A17 because I didn't remember the double striker one. It's tough because you don't want to get into double strike in Unison when he has like 4/3 markers, and it's a free. So yeah, I really like the card.
Yeah, and then finally, any shout outs at all?
Yeah, shout out to GCG Gaming, the best team. Shout out to my friend, shout out to my fiance. She always helps me and supports me a lot. Shout out once again to Peter Dance, who's my only loss with Janemba Mill. And yeah, great event at UK Expo. Shout out to judges, shout out to everyone in the community and the Polish community, the best community in the world. So that's it.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.